Right, let me share here.
No ready diagnosis, apparently.
Nope.
I was trying to think of some samadhi related things.
Yeah.
Mm.
By the way, hello, Kelly.
Mm. Okay, so last time we talked about the conversation between King Milinda and the monk, right? Nagasena, and he mentioned that only Arhat is the one that would not afraid of death at all because he go beyond samsara, the birth cycle, and so he the holy monk gave the analogy like when the king put the order to tax people, his officers would be exempted. So there's the arhat. So the arhat would not be afraid of anything. That's just what about. All right. So let's see here. Mm. Okay.
Just so, O king, the statement, all tremble at punishment, all fear death, does not apply to arhats because they are beyond fear of death. There are these 5 ways, O king, in which the meaning of a statement should be established. By comparison with text quoted by taste, i.e., is it in accordance with other texts? Is it in accordance with the word of the teachers, having considered its own opinion? Is it in accordance with my own experience? And fifthly, by combination of all these methods.
Mm.
I mean, that's just kind of, I suppose, how the arhats go about the inquiry of death. So not only is it maybe quoted that they have studied it in the texts, they've studied it through the way their teachers have taught him, and then they've discovered it with direct experience.
Mm.
Is this only concerning death, or is this any statement?
Right now, the subject is death. So for them,
but in general, that's the
These
Buddhist
5
process of discernment, or I think.
Okay.
So basically again, what is in the last passage? This statement, right? They say that is this accord with all the texts, with the teaching and so forth.
Yeah.
We talk about the Kamala Sutra, right? Where the Buddha say that don't believe in anything.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I haven't studied that sutra, but I'm saying I understand Buddhist discernment, and yeah. So that's is it related to the text? Is it related through your teachers? And then most importantly, have you had the direct experience of it?
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, Kelly, can you read the next one, please?
Yes, time. Very well, Nagasena. I accept that arhats are an exception to that statement, but surely those beings in hell cannot be afraid of death, by means of which they will gain release from that torment. Those in hell are afraid of death, O king, for death is a condition that all those who have not seen the Dharma are afraid of. Suppose, O king, a man kept prisoner in a dungeon were to be sent for by the king who wished to set him free. Wouldn't that prisoner be afraid of meeting the king? Yes, he would. So even in hell, those are afraid of death because you never know what's going to be next.
Yeah. So no matter what type of beings, or even the ant, when we touch them, right, they run away. They could not dare to look at us or to fight back, right? So they have to run for their life. And this analogy, right? So even the king make the order to let go of the prisoner, but when the prisoner went to see the king, he still trembled, he still uh, be afraid of. Yes.
There was one last line on there.
Yeah.
Just so, O king, these beings in hell are afraid of death, even though they will attain release from their torment. Afraid of death.
Yeah. In most of the religious idea, right, the hell is where the beings were tortured, right? They could kill and alive limitless times. It's especially in Buddhist view, but it may last millions of years, but one day they come and be exalted and they would get out the hell. Even them too, right? They still afraid of that. Yeah. Again, that's the idea. In most of the tradition. Okay, Ivan, you got home? Are you there?
I am home, Ty. I realized I needed some food.
Oh, really? You got home quick, huh? Whoa.
Yeah, I'm not that far away from Temple.
Oh, really? Oh, I see. You are in where I forgot. About 10-15 minutes away, right?
5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. Okay. Would you like to read next, please?
The protection from death?
No, yeah.
Protection from death. It was said by the Blessed One, not in the sky, not in the ocean's midst, not in the most secluded mountain cleft, not in the whole wide world is found the spot where remaining one could escape the snare of death. Yet on the other hand, the protection versus Parita, where were prescribed by the Buddha for the protection of those in danger. If there is no escape from death, then the Parita ceremony is useless.
Okay, do you understand this?
Spot where remaining. Can you scroll to the other page? I don't. The word Parita. I don't understand. Protection.
You understand that?
Yeah, I don't understand the word Parita, Thai, but otherwise, yes, it's a ceremony. It sounds very similar to the type Book of the Dead. It's a rite or passage to then promote progression.
Yeah. So basically, right, the Buddha say, no one can escape from death, right? Whether we hide on the sky or the mountain or anywhere, there's no way to escape the death. Right? That's just no nature of life. But this one, I think this is a question from the king. So in some Buddhist sutra, it talk about the Buddha say some word, what they call the protection verses, to bless beings that they could overcome difficulties or even death. So in this passage, so they can ask if there's no escape from death. So then, if the Buddha say those type of protection verses or ceremonies, useless then. So it is a story that Buddha blessed some animals, blessed some people that they are protected, they would not be harmed. That's what this story about. So for the king, if there's no there, so why do we need to do this type of ceremony, the protection ceremony, or why did the Buddha say those type of protection verses then? That's why. Kelly, so Josh, he's there, or he's over there, or what?
No, Ty, he's not in here right now.
Oh, okay, yeah. You follow, right? Can you read this one, please, Kelly?
Yes. Yes. Parita verses, O king, are meant for those who have the same portion of their life remaining. There's no ceremony or artificial means for prolonging the life of one whose lifespan has come to an end. But Nagasena, if he who has a term of life yet to run will live, and he who has none will die, then medicine and Parita are alike useless.
Yeah, you can stop here. Yeah.
I think he's saying that when it's your time to die, you're gonna die, no matter what. When it's your time to go, sorry, my dog's on my lap. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go, and there's no spells or verses or anything that's gonna keep you alive forever.
So even now, right? Even the king say, if that's the case, there's no use for medicine then. Is that logical? There's no use for medicine. Even for us, if it's time for us to go, or if we have some type of illness, we don't need to take anything. Just let go. Is that what do you think, Kaylee? Does that make sense or no?
Yes and no. I mean, it really depends on the prognosis. I mean, if I'm 90 years old and suffering from cancer, am I going to keep taking chemotherapy to prolong my life and suffering? On the other hand, if you have a good prognosis or diagnosis and medicine is going to help, then why not try it and find out?
We see this in the pet care industry, people not ready to let go of their animals. And then, so vet medicine has come a long way, and people have a lot of money that they spend on people. And sometimes it's, you kind of want to say, well, I think it's maybe that animal's time to go, but people so invested in some pretty extreme medical care for animals when it's really like it's time for that.
Yeah, yesterday I just read an article. It's so wonderful that somehow they can modify the herpes virus to kill cancer cell. And this gentleman, he's only in mid of 30, he got cured because of using that type of trial.
Wow.
Medicine, and it's only 10% that can be successful, but he's lucky.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, so depend. That's why in one particular sutra, the Medicine Master Buddha Sutra, they say there's some type of critical death. Sometimes if we don't see the right doctor, if we don't take the right medicine, and if you're not at the right place, we may lose our life. So depend upon those couple conditions. Sometimes if the illness is not much serious, but if we meet the wrong doctor, if we take the wrong medicine, right, it's getting worse. Like what happened at the COVID-19 recently, right? Some people, they're so healthy, but because they could not get the right medicine, they gone. But some of them, they got serious one, but they met right doctor and right medicine, they recover easily. So everything depends upon those type of karma too.
So saying is that's a function of karma as well?
Yeah, we can say kind of. Yeah, so that's why in Buddhism, in order to reduce the karma of illnesses, it's better to stay away from eating meat, to stay away from killing animals, or killing karma. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't change your bad karma. Yeah, I think you just kind of have to burn that off. But I've heard by adding good karma, it's like putting water, like if you have some salt water, that's your bad karma. The way you dilute your bad karma is by adding like purification and good deeds.
Yeah.
Achieving merit.
Like if you have a spoon of salt and you put in a cup or a small cup, when you taste it with salty, right? But you put that spoon of salt in a big pond, you won't feel that much. And if you put the big container, you will not feel that. So there's the karma. So the salt represents the bad karma there. So go back here. So depend. So go back here. What do you think? So do we need to take a medicine, Kelly? In this sense, what do you think? We die anyway. Then why do we need to take medicine then?
I mean, if you're at the end of your life and it's time, I don't know.
Yeah, like you say, right? For the 90-year-old people, right? They no need to take medicine, but for the younger one, it's better. Right? So it depends. Everyone cherishes.
Right.
Or, are you facing a terminal illness where the treatment is going to be quite a bit of torture and your life only gets extended by a year? Or do you just go ahead and say, all right, well, I'm going to go out and I'm not going to take the torturous.
What do you call? I forgot the term. The term that I forgot that term. That someone encounter the illness that's so painful for them, they want to terminate their life. What's it called?
Euthanasia?
Yes. What do you think? Is that proper in Buddhist view?
I would think not, because this life is such a precious gift. To end it prematurely would seem wrong.
But if it's so painful for them to handle it,
I've wrestled with it, and I've had a couple of discussions with some monastics about it, and so and because I've been in the position to have to euthanize quite a number. Part of that, is out of compassion and mercy, but there's still some karma associated with taking that action, whether it's grief or just feeling like, oh, did I make the right choice? Or, that there's still karma, you're still creating potentially some sort of, because I don't think hardly anyone just euthanizes an animal, or, it's legal in some places in the world. So have a family member, whatever. I don't think anybody makes that decision and then it's just like
Sure.
that there is still some lasting ramification anytime you feel like you have to make that decision.
Just as killing may be justified in certain instances in order to protect your own life, there's no negative karma generated from that action, correct? If you were to protect yourself, isn't the same true? If you were showing mercy.
I think you still get quite a bit of negative karma if you kill someone.
Yeah.
And that in itself is some sort of bad karma you're working through anyway.
So perhaps not a good example at all. Okay.
Hi, Sam. Are you been, Sam?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you at home?
Good evening, everyone.
Evening,
No, I'm in my car.
Are you driving? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So okay.
Nice to be here though.
Yeah.
Virtually.
We talk about we die anyway, then do we need to take medicine? That's what we talk about here. Do we need to go to the hospital when we're sick? When we have some kind of illnesses, do we need to go to the hospital to see doctor? Is that useless or no? That's what we talk about.
Depending on how attached
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are.
If it would help, yeah, if it would help.
Mm.
Like in the scenario Kelly mentioned where a person is just definitely going to die soon, then I don't suppose it would help. But if if the medicine would help, it would be best to take it.
Mm. And we talk about the what do you call what that word?
Euthanasia.
Huh?
Euthanasia.
Euthanasia. What do you think, Sam?
Suicide.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense in some situations, like if a person is certainly going to die and they're suffering a great deal, and there's no way to stop it, then I suppose it makes sense. Or not even a person, like an animal, like I think Kirsten mentioned, it's a normal thing. Like if you have a pet that's really ill, they'll put it down. It's still not easy. It's a hard decision. I've had to put down a couple of cats over the years, and it's very sad. But if they're in very, very horrible suffering and there's no way to fix it, if they're definitely at the end of their life.
Like I've seen the relief in the animals, because they're usually when they're at that point, they're just like I've had them just sitting there screaming nonstop. So is it way more humane to just do that, or go, oh no, we're gonna let nature take its course, and does the dog scream for 3-5 hours, 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, like so you do see when, especially when they're really struggling, that there is that sense of just release.
Yeah, Ivan, what do you think about life support? What do you think?
Give me a second, Ty.
Yeah.
Do
you need that?
I don't know. I'm kind of split on it because medicine is everything. It's everything we bring in. We think we eat, food, tea is the first medicine, right? But like in the idea of abstaining from to prolong life or shorten life, like I don't know. I guess it's part of nature to some extent. Like even animals or the elderly at some point, they know when they're towards the end and then start to abstain from, or the food, the very life-bringing things in our lives. But I don't know that in doing so transmutes their karma as much as it facilitates their own end or wish of the end.
Yeah, I witnessed so many cases. There's one case that a lady, she's above 80s, and the last 3 months of her life was that they hook up the breath medicine for her. The breath machine, sorry, the breath machine. Without that machine, she should be gone. But somehow, because the family members still love her, that's why they hook up the breath. What do you call the breath machine?
Respirator.
The breath aspiration. Yeah. So, but this is so painful for. So she lived because of that machine. So
for like what quality of life?
that's the point. And it wastes the money, right? Well, how about you, Kaylee? What do you think? Is that useful? Well, type of support and so forth.
It reminds me of the Terry Schiavo case where it's a woman who fell into a vegetative state in like the late 90s. And I mean, there was nothing there, and by all rights, she was dead, but her family refused to remove the feeding tube. Her husband, I mean, went to court for years and years, and finally they removed it in 2005. And I mean, she had no life. She was not there anymore, and her family had to suffer because the state refused to let them remove it. And who's got the bad karma there of prolonging suffering of others and not allowing Terry to move on to her next life and allowing her family to move on without her? I mean, that's just horrible. I can't imagine.
So what do you think? It's better to have those type of life support, or to let our loved one to pass away in that way?
I think it's case by case basis. I mean, after, 5 years of laying in the hospital, not being able to, you know, basically being a vegetable, that's horrible. I can't imagine that anyone in my family would want that. But if it's something where, they could come out of it and the doctors are hopeful, and the science behind it, if there's brain waves showing up, I mean, it's really depends on the case.
I'm a believer in medically assisted suicide, for people that are facing, whatever's left and just pretty much untreatable pain. I think you should be allowed to say, I am ready for the next phase of this body and this, so I think you should be able to have that choice and be able to do it peacefully and legally dignified with your family, in a respect.
Yeah, and this is not a country with universal health care. So I mean, I mean, it'd be very different if, the states were covering the cost of everything, but that's not the case for anyone. So
right, it's weird that that's something that's illegal and it's not a legal choice you can make,
The next one is, for our loved one, would you prolong their life for life support for those 5 years, 6 years, 10 years?
No, I mean, my dad suffered pretty bad. My dad suffered pretty bad at the end of his life with he had bone cancer and Alzheimer's. He was just a shell of a person. Like mentally, he wasn't there. Physically, there was no quality of life, and finally when he passed, it was just
Can you hear me?
it was time. I'm sure we could have tried to prolong his life or whatever, but we called hospice at a certain point. You sign, you do not resuscitate, and you call in and just try to make peace with it. And I guess not everybody's able to make that choice.
I don't know whether I told you guys the story about the guy I prayed and he got back. So a few years ago, I think, at least 7 or 8 years ago, when we have the center on the Newcott Road. So one day I got a phone call from my lady. She's a sister of a man. He's Mr. 50. So he got back from work and he had a stroke. So when they took him the ER, and they scanned his brain twice, and they say his brain was dead. No way for him to be alive anymore. So the family have to decide whether to put life support or to let him go naturally. So the family decided that they would let him to go naturally, but they called me and they went there to do the prayer for 7 days, and he came back.
Wow.
We don't know. Depends. This is
Sometimes
it's
it
miracle.
wasn't-
It's a lot,
wasn't
a lot of.
Wasn't his time to go?
This is a lot miracle, but somehow this is actually it's the first case I encountered, I witnessed myself. So, how about you, Sam? What do you think, Sam? Is life support is better to prolong the life to give them the chance to get back? What do you think? Sam?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it depends. Like if there's a certainty that the person is essentially like Kelly mentioned that Terry Shiva woman. I remember that case. You know, she was. I think some people are no longer present in their body. I think if you're no longer present in your body, the person is already gone. The person is already dead, and they just have the shell, just like the body is just like the clothes. It's like they're just keeping the body alive, but the person is already gone. The person is maybe already in the next life, and they're just keeping this body around. Or like Kirsten said, maybe the person is trying to get to their next life, and they're still kind of attached to this one because their family or the government or whoever is keeping them stuck in this one by keeping their broken, non-functional body alive. So I think, you know, it's good to wait for a certain time to see if like a miracle happens or something. Like maybe the person could get better despite what's expected, but time goes by and it seems quite certain that the person is just not to, you know, be like, you know, a person who can think and talk and feel and live. Then yeah, I think it's better to just let the natural thing happen, because I think, you know, with modern science, we have all these machines that we can make. We can make lungs go, we can make a heart go, but at a certain point, it's just like pumps instead of a person. You know, that's just machines. It's not a person anymore.
Okay. Let me mention one thing. According to Buddhist view, even the people who are in the coma, their conscious is still there. They're not been, whenever they gone, yeah, that means their last breath. But if they still have the breath, that means their consciousness is still there. When you talk to them, they know in that type of what we call vegetable state, right? They're still there, but they could not respond. If they have the brain dead, right? So they're still there. So it's not empty shell. Their consciousness is there. So that's
maybe
why,
they're like,
yes, that's why when we do the prayer, whenever we talk to them in compassion way, they recognize. Or even when we say something that may trigger the anger, they may be done quicker. So depend. They still know, but they could not respond. Yes.
I've heard of some very, 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 very new science that's very strange sounding, where they can connect machine to a person's brain and water in some of these like comatose states, and through the machine, the person can supposedly communicate. And they say that people who are in comas or whatever, some of these people like, no, I'm fine, leave me like this. But they say some of the other people are like, this is horrible. I'm ready to go. So I don't know. Maybe with this machine, we will know more what to do, because maybe it depends. Like maybe some of them feel trapped in. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a strange situation to think about, I suppose.
All right, good. Thank you. Let's just move on then. Ivan, can you read this?
Yes. Have you ever seen or heard a case of disease being cured by medicine? Yes, hundreds of times. Then your statement as to the ineffectiveness of Prarthena and medicine must be wrong. Venerable Nagasena, is Prarthena a protection to everybody? Only to some, not to all. There are 3 reasons for the failure of Prarthena. The obstruction due to past karma, that caused by present defilements, and the obstruction caused by lack of confidence. That which is a protection to beings loses its powers through its own blemishes, through their own blemishes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Medicine, the energy we take in, ultimately affects us and is effective, in medicine or food, air, etc. If you don't have confidence in it, though, it doesn't work. Mixed with it's only as good as its weakest link kind of thing. If you're eating, junk food, then you're gonna junk in results and junk out.
So he say 3 reasons, but why the prayer, right? Prayer protection fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
First one is obstruction due to past karma. If the karma is done, so cannot.
You're meant to go, you're meant to go.
Let's go. Let's go with the present defilement. That means somehow the prayer is not pure, right? Not sincere. The obstruction causes by lack of confidence. Yeah, this means they don't have that type of faith. Have you watched the video clips about the miracle of water? We talked about that before. Miracle of water.
The miracle of water.
You heard about that?
Yes, the water crystals, how
Yes.
they change.
Mhm.
Oh, the way when you meditate. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
can't think of the name of that artist that takes the pictures of the,
No. Mhm.
the
Through the prayer, the water when
The
they do the
changes.
prayer is different from the water that they scold.
yeah.
They say something outwardly. So the water molecule change depend upon how we pray, how we say to that water. So when we do the prayer, it's so effective. It's so effective that it may change the water molecule inside our body. You never heard about that.
Yeah.
So Ivan, you heard about that one, right?
Yes, I have, Ty.
How is that? What do you think?
I think it's fully capable, plausible. The research is very interesting, but even if you don't go all the way to the micro of a water crystal and just simply think of a house plant, the house plant that receives attention, or even a house pet. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you positive affirmation of things well done. They grow and they become those scolded, or you're a troublemaker. You whatever, it manifests into their reality and exhibits more sickness or reaction upon.
So what do you think, Kaylee, about you know about that type of miracle of water before?
No, Ty, I must have missed that day. I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. So
but it sounds really interesting.
Yeah. Let me share with you. Yeah, somehow our thinking, our mind, affect to environments around us, whether the water, whether the food, because whichever thing we have here, we affect to those things, or even all people.
Well, when they measure your brain, they're not measuring inside your head. They're measuring what's going
the
on
wavelength
on outside of your head. So for you not to think that your thoughts and your brain isn't affecting anything externally, you're terribly confused, because we can hook machines up to that and prove that somehow that our thoughts even manipulate, you know, that sort of energy field.
Yeah.
It's yeah, measurable and quantifiable that so.
Yeah, let me find out quick video clip. Yeah, so they can see why. That's why it's applicable in any religious tradition. When you do the prayer, it's so effective with their sincere mind. Copy this one here. Okay, this one quick. You can see, right, Kelly?
Yes, Ty.
So these are the words that he labeled on the water before he froze them, right? He freeze them. Yeah. Okay, anyway, so again, even of course for the water, but even the flower, the trees, right? When you water them, if you talk to them in positive way, right? They may have a beautiful flower, right? You have that experience yet, or you understand that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know the difference between, so when I did commercial, I used to do big commercial interior-scapes, tropical plants. I'm doing the big office buildings, hotels and stuff like that. And so there were certain people who you could put a plant near them, and plants were just not, no matter what plant you put in there was ideal location or whatever, or certain environments in the office, and you could walk in there and feel like palpable, like crummy, just energy in general. And so, yeah, the plants definitely would reflect that.
So somehow everyone was has some type of vibration, right? Frequency, right? And whichever thing we think will affect everything, whether the people close to us or the table, the chair, and water and so forth. So if we have that positive mind, it will affect them in positive way and vice versa. So that's why when we do the prayer, there is a type of experience for the prayer. It's so effective when we have the kind of prayer. Any condition. That's why whenever we drink the prayer water, we wear some kind of prayer beads. It will affect to our body and mind. It is so.
Yeah, water that's been prayed over or chanted over. Or there's plenty of like a spiritual practice, or even, you know, if you get into like the manifesting type practices. A lot of it has to do with put your intentions, put your good thoughts, meditate that into the water, and then take that in, or like the prayer water, because somehow it's been like infused with a little bit higher vibration. And essentially, the higher you vibrate, you know, the like you can look at the charts of the different frequencies and vibrations and how it's related with mind states, and it's a pretty interesting kind of thing to look at.
Even the thing you wear about your necklace, right? Kelly, you follow the thing that you wear around your neck, all right, your necklace or whichever.
Yes, Ty.
It will affect your life. It will affect your mind too, when others. And that's why when you come to the temple, right, you may feel that type of vibration. The frequency is quite different from at home. And when you go to the bar, it's different. When you go to the supermarket and so forth, every place has different vibration of frequency. So as long as we have the pure place, like at the temple, we can feel that type of purity there. We can recognize kind of blessing there. It's just go beyond our thinking. Only when we have that type of understanding, we recognize us. Otherwise, it's not easy. That's why many people, when they come to temple, they feel at peace, because we pray every day, we do the meditation. That's why the vibration is still calm. Right? Yeah, it's just opposite with going to the bar, go to some place that people act up too much. Yeah.
Is there benefit to praying to the food you eat?
Yes. Before we eat, even before we eat, we do the prayer. We send the message, we send the powers to the water, to the drink, to the food too.
And you can actually, like, so if you're interested in like raising your vibration, like you can do a lot of that through foods. Like foods are also kind of rated as far as like your vibration scale.
Different foods
have yeah. So like obviously like factory farmed meat is really gonna like bring down your vibration. And frozen factory farmed meat, like, so the processed food stuff like that has very low vibration. Foods like, obviously fresh fruits and vegetables, the fresher they are, the more.
That's okay. No,
let's hear from okay. But so it's kind of interesting to play with when you kind of look at these different ways of like raising your vibration, or kind of starting to notice those things and sort of applying that to your life. So whether with food or with prayer and chanting, or even like certain good thoughts. And then you can also raise your vibration by listening to certain frequencies and music. And it's just really interesting because you can manipulate a lot of the energy in your life that you're not really aware of until you start noticing that that's actually something you can manipulate for your benefit.
So Kelly, when you and Josh do meditation, the dog and the cat at home, they feel that frequency, that they feel that vibration when you do meditation with them?
Mostly they just like that we're on the floor and they want to be pet. So usually Carlos, the dog, he has to have a Kong full of peanut butter to distract him, or he'll just be on my lap like this. But sometimes the cat will want to be pet, and sometimes petting a cat, it feels better than meditation anyway. So okay. It depends. But yeah, they always want to like be part of it. When I do meditation or yoga, they want to be involved in it.
They could feel, right? They could feel that kind of calm.
Yeah. Yes.
Those animal, they feel sensitive, right? They're very sensitive for that. So Ivan, to look at the flower, the trees, the plant around you, right? So Yeah, so you can send the powers, the energy to them, and they will send back to you. So
Yes,
definitely. Mhm.
very much so. And like growing up meditating, we had a family dog that would home with us.
Yeah. Sam, you follow our conversation? Are you still there, Sam?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had in the past when I had cats. I think they were more peaceful when I would meditate. And
Mm.
I used to have. He's still alive. He just lives with a friend now. But I used to have a cat named Simon that when I first got him, he had a biting problem. He liked to bite a lot, but he knew that he wouldn't. Well, he wouldn't bite us in the room where the shrine was. I had a shrine with various Buddha Bodhisattva statues and whatnot, and in that room where the shrine was, he wouldn't bite. And on the odd occasion when he did bite, he would like it was like he realized what he had done wrong, and then he would leave the room.
That's right. So when people look at the Buddha statue, right, the sitting, when the Buddha with the sitting posture, they're so calm, so peaceful. That's why even they're not Buddhists, but they like to put the Buddha everywhere in the house. This kind of decoration to remind them that kind of peacefulness and calmness. This affect to us because for us as humans, we have a lot of attachment. When we see the sign, it will affect to how we think too. If we see a lot of violent movie and violent picture, it affect to us. Yeah. And so everything affect two ways, two mutual effect, right? Whichever we send out there to come back to us, and vice versa. Whichever happen out there to affect to us. So that's why we need to choose the right place, the right techniques, the right tools for us to maintain that kind of positive mind. Um, so that's this is so important. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so again, go back to that passage, right? So Nagasena does yes, it's work if we yeah, yeah, if it if we have the sincerity, if we have the purity, if we have the confidence. Otherwise, because of the past karma, we can't handle that. It's like the fruit has been ripened already. We cannot change. The mango, whichever fruit, has been ripened. It will fall down anyway. But we can change only when this is have not ripened yet. And if we have the pure mind to change, have the sincere mind to change. Yeah. Mm. And confident in that. Yeah. This is okay. So let's see. Uh, you like to read the
Power of Mara. Although they say that the Tathagata was in constant receipt of alms, yet when he entered the Pankasala village, he received nothing due to the intervention of Mara. Is the power of Mara greater than the power of the Buddha, or the power of demerit greater than the power of merit?
You understand this story before?
So yeah, Mara is kind of like the embodiment of the worldly concerns. Is that right?
Obstruction.
The obstructions in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a figure, but still it's more also
Symbolic.
symbolic of.
Yeah. So it's just like one day Buddha went to that village where he could not receive any offerings. So the Kina is that because the power of Mara greater than the power of Buddha, or because the merit greater than the power of merit. Mm. So one more time, in especially in Mahai Buddhist views, Mara This means obstruction. Anything that obstruct our way, we call Mara. Whether they are visible and invisible beings. So let's say if I want to, or if a student want to study, but somehow their friends call them to have a party, right? That's obstruction of their study there. And if we want to do some abuses, some people stop us, obstruct us. That's what we call in Buddhist view Mara. Basically, there's 4 types of Mara in Buddhist view. The first one is the spiritual Mara. That's the one that obstruct the Buddha attain enlightenment right before he attained enlightenment. And whoever invisibly they obstruct our way of life or our spiritual progress and so forth, called Mara, spiritual Mara. And second one is death Mara. Death Mara means, let's say while we sleep in here, right? Suddenly we die. Our lifespan is gone. And the third is what they call the 5 aggregates Mara. This related to our body, our feeling, our thinking, our habitual pattern, and our consciousness. Why they call Mara? Because, for example, the body, let's say we're healthy, suddenly we're sick, we cannot function anymore. We cannot go to school, we cannot work. That's the Mara related to the body. The Mara to relate to feeling. Like if someone give us hard harm, we have bad feeling about them. That's called Mara too. So the last one is number 4 is the Mara come from our own mind, that we cannot control our mental fluctuation, like anger. When we have anger, that's Mara. Then we have jealousy, that's Mara. Then. So those kind of Mara in Buddhist view. So anything that obstruct our way of life, whether it's material life, in this spiritual life, and so forth, it's called Mara. So go back to here. It say that how come when the Buddha came to that village and no one offered him anything? Is that because of the Mara power written him? That's the question there. All right, so yes, that's a lot for this one. Oh, go ahead, Kaylee, would you read it, please?
Yes, Ty. Great King, although what you said is true, it is not enough reason to prove your assertion. Consider a gatekeeper at a royal palace. He might prevent someone from bringing a present for the king out of jealousy, yet the king would not thereby be less powerful than the gatekeeper. There are 4 modes of obstructing a gift: to a gift not intended for any particular person, to one set aside for someone, to one being prepared for someone, and to the enjoyment of a gift given to someone. In the case you mentioned, the gift was not intended specifically for the Blessed One. If it had been, no one could have obstructed it. So I think he's saying that just because no one gave alms to the Buddha, it has nothing to do with Mara targeting any sort of target towards the Buddha. It's just a thing that happened. I don't know. Just life.
So the first one, they say 4 modes of obstructing a gift, right? Yeah. Yeah. So the first, to give to a gift not intended for any particular person. What does it mean? It means if someone give the gift without any intention to give anyone else, right? Right. To one set aside for someone. That's mean if we set aside the gift for someone who could not give to other people. The second one, right? The third is to one being prepared for someone. So it means we prepare for someone, not for other. And the last one is to enjoyment of a gift given to someone. So give the gift to other with the enjoyment, with the delight, with happiness. So this is for more. You follow this?
I'm not quite clear on it, but that's okay.
You clear that?
Yeah, I think so, but I think they're just saying that Well, first of all, he was begging, so it wasn't a gift that was intended, nobody. there
Step
wasn't-
out, nobody step out to give to him.
Right, so it wasn't a gift anyway, so there's
Mhm.
nothing to obstruct, because I guess. since
No one
all the-
intention to
yeah,
give.
It wasn't really.
Yeah. So Kelly, you follow this four mode of obstructing the gift. You follow that?
I think so, Ty. So I think he just was out there and maybe nobody had any alms to gift to him, or they had set some aside for a different monk, or they were in the middle of preparing something to give. So
Mhm.
maybe I'm following.
Yeah. Okay.
No food for the Buddha today.
Actually, that's a tradition. Whenever Buddha and whoever go to the village, they would not go knock the door. So they say whenever they see the Buddha and the monk, they would come out to give the food in the natural way, yeah, in comfortable way.
They just pass through the
Mhm,
village.
fast. Yeah, that's the way. So anyway, so okay, so time is up now. Let us stop today, and so next week we continue discuss then. Yeah. All right. So thank you, Kaylee, Sam, and Ivan. I'll see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful